We all know the Kansas City Chiefs have faced their share of criticism this offseason, and the heat is coming from all sides. Rival fans and analysts have been quick to point fingers, trying to shake the confidence of the Chiefs' kingdom. Just recently, Joey Peterson from Ravens Rundown threw some shade, doubting that this community could even hit 100 likes on a single video. It's clear that some folks out there want to see the Chiefs struggle or fail. But here's the thing. As fans, we know better. We understand the bigger picture and the challenges the team has faced. Today, we're breaking down the ESPN offseason report on the Chiefs, specifically the analysis from Seth Walder. He wasn't exactly kind with his grade, giving the Chiefs a B- overall. And while there's some fair criticism, a lot of what he said misses the mark or oversimplifies the situation. The Chiefs' front office had to make some tough decisions, balancing a tight salary cap with the need to keep key players and bring in new talent. This offseason wasn't just about flashy signings or big trades. It was about navigating difficult choices, cutting loose aging veterans, managing franchise tags, and trying to patch up problem areas like the offensive line. The narrative ESPN paints suggests the Chiefs didn't do enough, but the reality is far more nuanced. Before we dive into the specifics, I want to ask you directly, do you think the Chiefs' offseason was misunderstood or truly disappointing? Hit the comments with a Y if you believe they were misunderstood, or N if you agree with the criticism. Your voice matters here, and it helps build this community even stronger. Also, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to Total Chiefs News. We're all about daily updates and honest takes on everything, Chiefs, so stay tuned and help us grow this kingdom. Now let's get into the details and break down what ESPN had to say, and more importantly, what it all really means for the team. When it comes to the biggest offseason move, the spotlight naturally falls on the trade of Joe Thuney. Now, this was a tough pill for many Chiefs fans to swallow. Thuney was one of the team's best offensive linemen, an all-pro guard who brought experience and skill to the line. So trading him away to the Chicago Bears for just a fourth-round pick felt like a questionable downgrade at first glance. But when you peel back the layers, it starts to make sense. Seth Walder from ESPN was critical, saying the Chiefs made a surprising choice to move on from Thuney, especially fresh off a Super Bowl loss where the offensive line was a major issue. And yes, it's true the line struggled last season, so why trade one of your best pieces? The key detail here is that Thuney was 32 years old and in the last year of his contract. The Chiefs had to consider not just his performance, but also the financial implications of paying a veteran guard a big salary that could impact their cap space and limit their flexibility. There were even talks that Thuney might get cut instead of traded. So while the return was minimal, getting something for him and avoiding a potentially expensive extension was a practical move. It fits with the so-called old Belichick philosophy Brett Veach mentioned. Better to move on from a player a year too early than a year too late. Sure, Thuney was still playing at a high level and even stepped in at left tackle when needed, but the Chiefs had to balance that with the risk of him declining and losing other key players due to cap constraints. It wasn't an easy decision, but probably the right one in the long run. Now I want to hear from you. Was trading Joe Thuney a mistake? Head to the pinned comment and vote Y for yes or N for no. Your opinion shapes this conversation, and we want to know how the Chiefs' kingdom really feels about this move. And hey, if you want more in-depth analysis and updates on every big Chiefs move, smash that like button and subscribe to Total Chiefs News. We're building the biggest and most informed fan base out there, and your support helps us get there. One of the more debated moves this offseason was the decision to place the franchise tag on Trey Smith. Now, Trey is a solid guard, but some analysts, including Seth Walder, called this an overpay. The franchise tag comes with a price based on all offensive linemen, which means Trey was essentially paid like a tackle, a more expensive position. On paper, it looks like the Chiefs paid a premium for a player who, while good, isn't quite at Joe Thuney's level. But here's the thing. I think calling it an overpay oversimplifies the situation. Trey Smith is only 26 years old, and he clearly wants to stay in Kansas City. The Chiefs saw his potential and wanted to keep him around rather than risk losing him. Even if the tag comes with a high cap hit this year, it buys the team time to negotiate a long-term deal without losing him outright. If they fail to get a contract done before the deadline, it's not the end of the world. Keeping Smith on the tag for 1 year still gives the Chiefs a strong guard in the lineup and allows for more flexibility in future contract talks. Smith's willingness to be here is a big plus, and that kind of player loyalty is valuable. Now, this all ties into a bigger challenge the Chiefs have faced for years: the left tackle position. It's been a revolving door since Eric Fisher left, and last year's patchwork lineup at tackle was a clear weakness. The Chiefs targeted Ronnie Stanley in free agency, but he was quickly snapped up elsewhere. Instead, they signed Jalen Moore from the 49ers, a move that drew criticism from ESPN. Moore was a backup for most of his career and didn't have strong pass-blocking metrics, ranking near the bottom at tackle last season. But the Chiefs also drafted Josh Simmons with the 32nd pick, who could compete for that left tackle spot if healthy. Simmons was highly rated and might have been the first offensive lineman taken in last year's draft, if not for injury concerns. Alongside Moore and another candidate, Kingsley, the Chiefs have options, though none are perfect solutions. At left guard, players like Moore, Kingsley, and Mike Caliendo are all vying for playing time, and that position might be more stable. Still, the offensive line remains an area the Chiefs must improve, and this offseason was about juggling risks and hoping some lottery balls hit. What do you think? Is Trey Smith worth the franchise tag? And do you believe the Chiefs will finally fix their offensive line issues this year? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you think about this crucial piece of the team's puzzle. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to Total Chiefs News to keep up with the latest Chiefs news, analysis, and discussions. Your support makes these deep dives possible. Now, let's talk about some of the positives from the offseason, the moves that ESPN actually liked and praised. One of those was signing Kristian Fulton, who comes over from the Los Angeles Chargers. This was a smart addition to shore up the Chiefs' cornerback depth, which had been a glaring weakness last season, especially when Jalen Watson got hurt and the defense struggled to cover the field. Fulton is expected to step right into a starting outside corner role, giving the Chiefs a much-needed boost. ESPN's Seth Walder pointed out that adding Fulton helps balance out the secondary and supports players like Trent McDuffie, who's best when playing nickelback. With Fulton on the outside, McDuffie can slide back to his natural position, which should improve the defense overall. On the offensive side, the Chiefs made what might be their best value signing of the offseason, Gardner Minshew as the backup quarterback. This was a bargain deal at just over $1 million for the year, considering Minshew earned $15 million with the Raiders last season. Having a reliable backup behind Patrick Mahomes is crucial, and Minshew has proven he can step in and get the job done if needed. We've seen in past seasons what happens when Mahomes goes down. The backup needs to be ready. Minshew showed competence when stepping in for Anthony Richardson a couple years ago, nearly leading the Colts to the playoffs. So while we all hope Mahomes stays healthy, it's comforting to know the Chiefs have a capable option waiting in the wings. These moves might not grab the headlines, but they matter. Depth and value signings like these can be the difference in a long NFL season where injuries happen. Do you agree that Kristian Fulton and Gardner Minshew were the Chiefs' best offseason pickups? Let me know which signing you think will make the biggest impact this season in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button if you appreciate this honest breakdown of the offseason moves. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to join Total Chiefs News for daily Chiefs updates and deep dives. All right, let's bring it all together with ESPN's overall grade for the Chiefs offseason, a B-. On the surface, that might sound like a mediocre score, but it's important to put it into context. Most teams didn't do much better, and only one team, the New Orleans Saints, got a D or worse. So the Chiefs are not exactly at the bottom of the barrel here. Still, I have to say that Brett Veach and his staff deserve more credit than that. Managing this offseason was no easy task. The Chiefs were tight against the salary cap, yet they found ways to keep key players like Trey Smith and Nick Bolton while adding promising draft picks. That's impressive given the challenges. From where I stand, this was closer to an A-level offseason. The front office showed smart decision-making by prioritizing flexibility and long-term success over quick fixes. They know the weaknesses, especially on the offensive line, and they have options to improve. Plus, solid depth signings on defense and a reliable backup quarterback can't be overlooked. Now it's your turn. How would you grade the Chiefs offseason? Is it an A, B, C, or something else? Drop your grade in the comments. I want to hear what you think about Brett Veach's work and the moves he made to set up this team for the 2025 season. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more insider-level analysis and daily Chiefs coverage, please subscribe to Total Chiefs News. Hit that notification bell, too, so you don't miss a beat as training camp heats up and the season approaches. Thanks for sticking with me through this detailed review. Until next time, keep repping that Chiefs kingdom and stay ready for everything this team brings in 2025.